Trained by day, Kyle Wigginton podcast by night, all day.
What are you laughing about, dude?
First podcast.
Melinda.
On my way to Housewives, reality.
Melinda
First step.
Bell. Is that true? Is that your name? What's your name?
It sure is.
Melinda Bell?
Yeah.
I never remember your last name.
It's pretty easy.
That was a total guess, by the way.
Was it really?
Yeah, I think I only know I know we've known each other forever.
How long also have we been friends on like Instagram and Facebook?
I don't remember last names. I can barely remember first names. So at least I remember that one. So be thankful that I remember that.
Okay, I'll take it.
So we're talking all things relationships.
Let's go.
Is it tough to find a man today? Was that your?
Oh, it's horrible.
What's
they
the
say
issue?
like the dating pool, but like it's literally like a cesspool, like birth bath here in New Orleans. It's
Why?
not even a pool anymore.
Go on, tell me about it. Tell me some stories.
So being from the East Coast, it's just so different here in New Orleans. Like we're very much like on the East Coast, go, like get those achievements, like have that like life work balance. Like here we go, like we're gonna achieve all these things and like have our shit together because that's what we do. We're not gonna work ourselves to death, but like we work hard, play hard.
Okay.
Here, everybody just plays very, very hard.
You don't think anybody works around here?
They work, but like it's a different level worth ethic here. Everybody's like so laid back and everybody's like, happy when it happens. Like, oh, I'll just do like Uber Eats for the next 10 years and like that'll be it.
So you're saying the reason that you're having trouble finding a guy is because they're not successful enough.
Our ambition levels are different.
Mm.
So for me, I'm okay if like we're not talking or chatting every single day for a relationship. Because like I'm working hard, you're working hard. Like as long as we like still have that connection when we are together, I'm totally okay with it. But like if I'm like, working these 40, 50-hour weeks and you're upset because I'm not texting you right back because I'm fucking busy and at work, then that's an issue. And I seem to get a lot of that here in New Orleans.
Guys that want your attention.
Too much of it, Kyle.
I mean,
here's the thing though, like I'm working, like I want you to respect that, like I have this career, I have this job I really love, like know that I can't always dedicate all my time to you.
You sound like a man. Like
I know that's not the first time I've ever heard that.
This is the argument that I feel like most men would have.
That's literally not the first time I've heard that.
So do you think that's a problem?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I've definitely like kind of just cut guys off because like they'll text me super early in the morning, like, I'm a service industry person. Like I'm coming home super late. So if you're texting me 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm thinking something's wrong at work.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to pick up, not, oh, why didn't you respond to my text? Like,
but I'm saying, don't you think that's an issue with like you taking on more masculine roles?
Yeah, but if a guy is that very type A alpha personality, which is what I look for, then it's not going to be a problem.
So you're
like,
thinking
tell me I need to calm the fuck down. Tell me I need to like stop being an asshole. And like, if you have that type A personality, then like, that's probably what I'm going to be attracted to, a very alpha type.
But I would say you have that type A personality too. So don't you think those would headbutt each other? I
think if I found the right person who could like, calm me down some, I would.
Dude, I hate when women come at me like that.
Why?
Yeah, I've had girlfriends in the past that are like, you need to like tell me to shut up and sit down. I'm like, no guy wants that.
Okay.
No guy wants to come to a woman and say, you need to sit up and shut up and sit down.
It's not shut up. It's like, just put me in check every once in a while.
No guy wants that. Like what makes you think?
It's either like type A personality or like what? Like I'm not going to be super submissive at all. Like, well, okay. I'm not going to say at all. If you're the right type of alpha male, I'll absolutely be submissive to you. But you have to be the right type of alpha male for that.
All I'm saying is if I come home to a woman, I have to tell her to chill the fuck out all the time, then she's going to hit the door.
It's not like an all the time thing. That's what I'm saying.
I don't even want to do it. Like you just fucking chill out. Like one time, done.
Yeah, but I feel like there's different levels. Like there's like, a woman will come home and she'll just nag you at all times. There's times where like, I'm cool with us just like hanging out in the same room. We literally don't have to be talking.
Yeah.
But there's also times when I'm just like, I don't have time for this. And just like, I'll kind of just shut down in a sense of like, okay, we don't have time for this. Cool. Bye. Like, again, I'm probably the guy in that sense where like, I don't really need to talk about our feelings. Mm-hmm. And I need somebody to be like, no, we need to talk about this. You can't just like brush it off. So calm down in that type of sense of like, okay, got it. Maybe I'm not considering your feelings. Maybe I'm the asshole in this situation.
Right. Well, that's just basic communication, I would say.
Well, yeah. So it's more that sense. Like, I'm not going to nag. I'm not that type of person. I'm like, but I do need somebody who's like, you know, got their shit together.
That makes sense. Like, you don't want someone who you're having to take care of. No.
And I'm finding a lot of that here in New Orleans.
Why do you think that is down here, though? Just because of that, like, let's play lifestyle?
Yeah. And I think it's just like, also like, obviously, you know, it's hard finding those type of jobs where you're like in that corporate level, or it's just they pay fairly. The people always think because the cost of living here is super low, then the wages have to be low as well. New Orleans has some of the lowest pay wages in the country. So it's hard for people to even find those type of jobs. And a lot of remote employers do not want to employ people in Louisiana. So it's just like a mixture of those two things.
Well, that doesn't sound like a problem, an issue that men can fix, though. That sounds like an issue that the city has.
They do, but that's, I think, probably why I'm attracted to more of the transplants that come down here.
Yeah. But I mean, if they live here now, then they're probably making low wages.
Yeah. I mean, but you know what? There's a difference between like being ambitious and just being like, fuck, it is what it is.
Right.
You know, like, I don't care if you have a low wage job, you have a job and you're working hard at it. Yeah. I don't care if you're outside, you know, putting tiles on top houses or picking up trash. Have some ambition.
Do you find that you've been on dates with people who don't have jobs?
Yeah.
Like, how does that even work?
There was this one guy I was chatting to, and it's just like, I'm like, well, what do you do? He's like, oh, well, you know, I haven't really worked since like the pandemic. And I'm like, this was 2023. And I'm like, 20, 21, 22, 23. Okay. He's like, yeah, I just doing like, you know, DoorDash and stuff. And I was like, okay. So I'm like, let me just change the subject. So we're talking about, I think, furniture or something. Like Wayfair, Amazon, I was putting together some furniture. He's like, oh, must be nice. I'm like, what? He's like, you know, I've never bought a new piece of furniture in my whole adult life. And I'm like, oh, okay.
What was his reason, though?
Oh, I just never had the money.
Oh. I don't buy furniture because I like living with nothing.
Exactly. I'll take that. I was that way for a really long time. But if the fact is that like you were just complacent and like just doing DoorDash since the pandemic ended 2 years ago, then it's just like, you know, you kind of got to brush it off in the moment.
I guess it's weird to get stuck in like, maybe just get stuck in like the routine of it.
Yeah.
And he just like doesn't break out of the box.
It's that. And again, that speaks to the ambition level of like, you know, again, I don't care if you're picking up trash. Like, just
dude, the trash guys here are legit. You should get some of those. Those guys make tons of money, have benefits, and they work their asses off.
I mean, I think that also like, you know, when you said dating here in New Orleans, that also boils down to ideally, you know, I'm a woman of color who usually dates outside of her race. So I kind of just
boys.
It's a great way to put it, Kyle. It's just another layer of like why it's like harder for just me personally to date here in New Orleans.
Statistically speaking, a African-American woman and a Caucasian man are the best relationships.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah. I mean, they rarely break up.
Yeah. I don't know if rarely.
It's a stat. I mean, the stat's not rarely, but the stat is like those are the best relationships when it comes to like staying together.
No, I think just like me personally with like what my views are and like my interests are, like I just predominantly always gravitated towards that. So I think, you know,
I kind of
limits my pool.
What do you mean with your hobbies and stuff? Like how does that come?
Hobbies? I'm like, unfortunately, like I'm not finding many African American males that want to go to Comic-Con that want to go, let's go camping for 4 days out in the woods. Let's, you know,
that's true.
Let's go shoot things in the woods. Like
it's a white thing.
Like let's binge watch all like Avatar Last Airbender. Like I'm not finding.
That is true. I think when I first met you, you were like wearing camouflage or some shit.
I was. Probably.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe you should move to like a small town in you know, Alabama or Arkansas.
I feel like I'm too extroverted for that though. Like if I'm seeing like the same people over and over again, like that's kind of why I like the city.
Yeah. Yeah. something about dating in a city, though, that's where the issue is. There was an experiment that was
100%.
done a long time ago. I'm not sure when it was now, but they took these mice, these rats and mice, and they put them in like an enclosed city, like it would be our city for humans.
Yeah.
They put them in a space like this, and they found that quickly these like structures started popping up, these internal structures within the mice. And what they would do is all the female mice would go after the 1% mice. Like they would go after these ones, and these 1%ers would have harems of female mice around them, and they would have pockets of like of adolescent male mice that would pop up and just like start hanging out by themselves.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and the women would just groom themselves all day to try to get with the 1%ers. That's exactly what we see.
That sounds about right. That sounds about right.
Yeah, that's what we see in our world today in cities. But if you go to these smaller towns, you realize that it's not that way.
Yeah. It's insane. Like it's hard here because literally for every single guy you find, there's about 10 other females are like after his attention at the same time. So there's that.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't had any successful relationships in cities either. Yeah, I think, no offense, ladies, but I think most of you are fucking crazy.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's New Orleans. Like they are a little rowdy down here.
Especially in this city, it breeds crazy.
Yeah.
Like if you are a little bit like on the fence of crazy and you come down here, it's going to like just jump you up.
Yes. I think between, like you said, like having that party lifestyle, having bars that are available to you 24/7, it's a whole nother level. Mm-hmm. So let's add that into the mix of why dating here in New Orleans is rough as well.
So, I mean, what are you thinking about like changing or doing differently that's going to, make this better or worse?
This is where the problem lies. I'm not really open to changing anything of what I want because like in my mind, I feel like I'm compromising as far as like what I want in a partner and what I want to find in that significant other. Like recently, just blocked another guy because we were chatting and, I don't see myself having kids. Like I don't want kids.
Okay.
I'm open to adoption, fostering. That's where my heart lies, fostering older kids. And I recently have been trying to put myself out there to more of the older guys because, either they have kids that are grown or they don't want kids.
What is that? What age is that?
So I'll be 36 in a couple months. So that usually ranges to like early 40s, mid 40s, maybe late 40s.
Okay.
Shall and Melinda is still in there. So, you're hot. It's fine.
I mean, men age well.
They do.
Yeah.
They sure do.
Okay. So you've been looking for guys who are in their mid 40s.
Yeah. Okay. And I had started talking to one and somehow the subject got on kids. That's fine. We only been talking for a couple weeks. I'm dating with intention. So I'm super happy he brought it up. And he's like, do you have kids? I was like, only ones that have 4 legs that are covered in fur. He's like, oh, you live alone? I'm like, yeah. He's like, so you don't have any like human children? I was like, absolutely not. And he's like, you have, do you want kids in the future? I was like, no. He's like, so you can't have a child? And I'm like, that's literally not what I said. Mm-hmm. I said, I don't want to have a child. So just that comment, like, you can't have a child, biggest turnoff ever.
Why?
Because he wasn't doing like active listening, even though we were texting. Like I said, do not want children. I never said I can't have a child. I said, do not want.
But why would you take offense to that? He's just he's asking you a question.
If he had worded it better, maybe. But like, oh, you can't have a child? Is that literally what I'm
you
just
said it
like
was over text
for?
message?
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like you're just reading into it a lot. You could read that a million ways, but you said, oh, you don't have a child or you can't have a child? Like,
no, that's what he said. He said, you can't have a child.
You can't have a child.
You can't have a child. Like,
yeah, but I mean, like, you can read it a million ways.
Guys out here like saying, oh, you can't have a child. Your body can't produce offspring.
Dude, I say shit like that all the time.
Okay, I'm biased because I know how you are. So like, I had only known him for a couple of weeks. That's different. Like if you and me are having a conversation, I know who you are as a person.
I'm just curious. Maybe he was just curious. Anyway, so you blocked this guy because of that. Did. Like immediately, you're like, yeah, fuck this guy.
No, because he's like, well, I want kids. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Bye.
Did he want kids?
Yeah.
More? You already have some?
No, he didn't have any.
Oh, well, I mean, that makes perfect sense then. If he wants kids.
Sir, you are 46. Why are you over here in my text talking about kids? You're going to be rolling on the floor with them at 60 years old?
Well,
get out my phone. Wanting kids.
Yeah,
get
if he wanted kids, and this is no offense to you, but if he wanted kids, he should have probably went for someone in their 20s.
He probably should have.
Yeah.
You're not getting them out of me at 35.
No, yeah.
Absolutely not.
Sir, you went for the wrong person.
Also, again, you're 46. Like, you're going to be rolling around the ground at 60 with these kids?
He can still have
that I'm going to be raising? No, absolutely not.
I mean, he don't have to raise them.
Wow.
I'm just saying, he as a man, he can put that in someone and still have a kid.
And that's what's wrong with today's society.
That's just part of it. That's part of this whole thing.
Nick Cannon fan club.
What do you
Get
mean?
out here.
He does have a bunch, doesn't he?
He has like 12.
And that's like,
he did exactly what you just said. He put it in though. He said, peace.
Well, no, that's the secret, right? Didn't they say that after so many kids, you don't have to raise them anymore? Like if you have so many kids, you don't have.
Because that's healthy for those kids.
I'm just saying, Nick Cannon found the secret.
Okay, to emotional distress for like all 20 of his kids.
I mean, he could be a good father.
There is no way you could possibly, in this earth, give each child the emotional stability they need from a father having that many kids. Especially you being an entertainer, you traveling, there's absolutely no way.
Well, I mean, there is a way. You get the woman pregnant and then let her find a beta male to raise the kids.
Because that sounds super healthy.
I mean, just saying, they'll get the emotional support they need from a man. None of this is healthy. Like,
that's the thing. Yeah,
well,
I'm
like,
trying to go for
nothing is.
healthy.
Even because you and I talked one time about you said you were in a relationship with someone and they wanted to have open relationships.
Yes.
And I don't think that's healthy either.
No.
But that's also part of living in a city where people have so many options.
No. That's New Orleans. Okay. From
you don't
the
think
East
it's
Coast,
other places?
No, I've lived in 8 different states.
Mm.
This is the only place where every other person's like, oh, I want to have an open relationship.
Mm.
Even California, DC, Boston, Florida. Even Florida wasn't this bad.
Mm-hmm.
And then I come to New Orleans and it's like, everybody's like, oh, like I'm partnered and my partner's out here as well. Like, you know, we want to date as a couple. We want to date separately. Like I'm married. I've been married for a really long time. But, you know, she knows I'm out here. Like, what?
So what do you think that's about? Why do you think we have such a promiscuous city?
I don't know. It's weird. Like it's, you know, I'm not knocking anybody. Like, you know, that's your thing. That's cool. But like, it's so concentrated here. I don't know why.
To me, it gets confusing. So I'll give you a story that happened just Friday.
Oh, wow.
So Friday we're in the bar and this gorgeous girl walks in the bar, but she walks in the bar with this man who is also a good looking man and another woman who's pretty hot. Mm-hmm. Okay. So they all three walk up to the bar.
Trouble.
And I didn't have a clue who was with who. I was like, this is already like, you know, starting off weird. I can't tell. So the one that I said was gorgeous, like came up and started talking to me, asking me if I was single, if I had a kid. And I was like, okay, she's hitting on me. And then somehow we got on OnlyFans and it turned out the other two were a couple and they had an OnlyFans. And I was like, okay, it's cool. So we know that this one's single and that these two are a couple in our OnlyFans. And then the one girl that had a boyfriend pulled out her phone and showed me a picture of them two naked making out.
No.
And I was like, so she's on your OnlyFans? And they're like, no, we're trying to get her on there, but she's not yet. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on
Wow.
here? Yeah. So I was like, this is such a confusing situation for me. Because like it feels like this one's hitting on me, but now like they're all a couple. Yeah. I don't really know what's going on.
They're probably just trying to be like, look at Kyle.
They want to be an OnlyFans too?
Yeah.
It's possible.
I mean, you're a very good looking guy, Kyle. I'll tell you this many times. So like that wouldn't surprise me if somebody was like, hey, come be in our group.
But you would think that they would just say that.
You would think so, but I think because it's such a normalized thing here in New Orleans, that it's just like, it's okay.
Or you think it was just implied that I would just get in their OnlyFans?
I mean, I think because they brought it out, they showed it to you. That was like the first like little breadcrumb to like, look at this.
You want a piece of this?
Because like, who really just goes around being like, look at my OnlyFans,
dude? there's another.
They saw you. They were like, this one.
But there was another lady sitting at the bar, and she's like, "Does that happen often in here?" And I'm like, "Sometimes. It's a weird thing."
Yeah, I mean, you know, everybody has social media these days. Everybody has whatever their version of OnlyFans is, and you know they're gonna do their thing, and we're just here for the ride, apparently.
Tell me about some bad dates you've been on. Because I'm guessing you've been using the digital dating.
Yeah, a lot of Bumble.
What are the Bumble, Tinder, Hinge?
Not Hinge. Hinge is just not like was not
What is Hinge?
putting out anything. Apparently, it's a site like if you really want to find like a relationship and not just like a hookup. But that's basically what Bumble is.
So what? Bumble's or Tinder's the hookup?
Yeah.
Okay.
But like now it's just like, oh, you can put like if you want like a short term thing or long term thing. It's all so confusing. It's just meshes into one. I think in the past few months I've gotten a lot of, and I get this a lot, but I've got this a lot more since I moved to New Orleans. Oh, I've never been out with a black girl before.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like, again, another instant like, what do you think's gonna happen? Like a unicorn's gonna come out and we're gonna ride to like Wakanda? Like I don't understand. Like
when you're like, yeah, I look like one, but I like to hunt and fish. I mean,
they don't even get to that point.
Okay.
They never get to that point. It's never like, oh, what do you like to do? It's always like, oh, I've never been out with a black chick before. I'm like, okay, well, this is over.
Yeah, it's
so
the same
usually I
thing.
just like leave or I go out like the back doors.
Because you're like the mythical creature.
Yeah, apparently.
Mm.
It's like, oh, like, you know, you're just like really into like a lot of different things.
Mm.
So yeah, let's try this out. But, you know, the whole fetishizing of like going
Right.
out with like a black girl is like a big thing here. And it's frustrating because it's like, I'm not like, oh, I'm going out with another guy. Like to me, it's just like another Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, I've been out with all of them. They're all the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, it's, you know, I get it. Like, you know, a lot of people here haven't stepped out of that box. I don't need you to verbalize it. I get it. Like,
Wasn't this city like a huge percentage African American?
yeah,
So, I mean, I feel like that guy could.
you would think so.
Yeah.
You would think so. But also a lot of them are like former Tulane kids who are like all grown up now. So like they never left New Orleans or,
Mhm.
you know, they come from like Mississippi or Alabama. Like, oh, you're so different and all these tattoos and you're so alternative. But like I know this is a problem on my end because I also tend to go for guys who are like rocking a pair of Sperry's and like so salmon colored shorts
Mhm.
and a button down. And it's just like her name Craig. It is what it is.
Poor Craig.
I understand that's part of my problem. Like I'm trying to.
So
venture out
what's some of
more.
the horror stories? You gotta have some horror stories. I have some horror stories.
I'll let you go first.
One time I went on this date. It was a coffee date. Okay.
Mhm.
So I meet this girl at this coffee shop and she walks in and looking in her eyes, very beautiful girl. She wore this little polka dotted dress and got her coffee. We walked outside. We're sitting down and the conversation's going well. And then
Yeah.
she hit me with this, like, I don't wear shoes.
Oh,
And I'm like, okay, that's cool. Like I'm very like down to earth.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so you're doing it for like grounding purposes,
Yeah.
right? And she's like, no, I just don't wear shoes. And I need you to tell me there's a reason
Yeah,
behind this. And I said, well, what if you go to like the French Quarter or something, you know, where it's fucking disgusting? She's like, no, I still wouldn't wear shoes. And I'm like, well, what if you catch a disease, like
Yeah.
step in some of that nasty water? And she's like, you can't catch disease from not wearing shoes.
what?
And that's, bro, that's where I was like, hang on a second. And she spent the next 20 minutes schooling me on how you can't catch
No.
disease from not wearing shoes. And finally, I just got up and I just walked off. I shook her hand and just walked off.
I love that for you.
Yeah, but sure enough, I looked under and she didn't have any shoes on.
No. Listen, first off, I don't want to wear sandals in the French Quarter,
Mhm.
much less be out there with no shoes.
Mhm.
It's gross.
Yeah, I agree.
I took this one guy to the infamous Tracy's, rest in peace. And I think for me, like my way of like flirting showing interest, like here's a shot.
Your way of what?
Like showing interest, like flirting, like on a date.
is
If we go to
getting
bars,
them
like
drunk.
here's a shot.
Yeah, okay.
let's keep up, you know?
Yeah.
Like for me, I'm just like, I want you to keep up with me. Like it's fun. So like I'm gonna keep on giving you shots.
Well, some people aren't that big of drinkers.
That's fine to let me know.
Okay, well,
At
they don't
some
want to
point-
like.
At
that's-
some point you can say no, you
you
don't
don't
want
think
the
that's a
shot
very
anymore.
beta move to be like, I don't want your alcohol. Maybe he's trying to be alpha for you, you know? He's trying to give me that
Maybe,
shit.
but I mean eventually I'm gonna find out. So why not just tell me now?
Well, yeah, I know how much you drink. I know you can do this. I know.
So-
that would be a mistake for me to try to keep up with you, okay?
So the first thing when we got there, the bartender was like, oh hey Melinda, you want another Tinder date? And he was sitting right there. I was like,
Dang.
damn it.
Fucking bartender, dude. Busted your ass out.
And she was awesome. I know she was trying to help because she already had like a Jameson there, but I was like, ma'am, can you not put
Yeah.
that shit out there? So we're taking shots, drinking, getting some food. Like we're talking, we're laughing. We do a shot, takes it back. All of a sudden I see
No.
and right through the hand.
Oh my God.
And he's like, I'll be right back.
How many shots deep were you though?
Only like 5 or 6.
Bro. It's not to the point of puking. Like, come on. Like, if you can handle that, just say like, I'm gonna take a water. Like, take like, I don't know. Poor guy, man. God damn. I gotta drink 5 shots tonight just to see if I can do it.
We've done that before.
But that was like back in the day. I need to see if I can do it like sober 5 shots and to see how drunk I am. That way I have like a, a basis for this. Because I mean, right now I'm thinking in my head, yeah, I can do this.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I can anymore.
I believe you can. I think you got it in you.
Well, now I do mostly THC. I drink the THC cocktails.
I saw it on the.
Fucking love those things, dude.
We gotta get back to our shot days.
So anyway, this guy threw up.
Yeah, he went to the bathroom and I left. Oh. I paid the tab. I paid the whole tab. I was like, bye.
Well, at least you paid the tab.
Of course. Like
you're definitely the guy. Like I'll respect to that. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's another weird thing we're in with these days. Like as a man who grew up in the small town in the South, I want to pay the bills when I go out. It's just like, if I'm going to ask you on a date, I pay the bills. But
I only paid it because I was sneaking out and he was in the bathroom.
Well, I would say at the same time, I went on a date with this girl and we dated for a while. She was amazing. Mm-hmm. But she paid the tab every other time we went out. And I was like, how do you feel about that? I was like, this is kind of hot.
See, so it's not bad.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. Like, I don't want you to feel like it's always has to be on you when we go out.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a woman, I work too. Like, but at the same time, like, I still want you to have that alpha energy, but like, I don't want you to feel like you have to like buy me stuff all the time, pay for all my stuff every time we go out. Like, it's just not, if I want to build a future with you, it's also not financially like, I don't want you to spend all your money on me.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm not saying like I'm low maintenance, but at the same time, like, it doesn't take too much to like keep me even killing and happy. Just like be a fucking good partner, be communicative, understand my boundaries, and have fun. Like, don't be a Debbie Downer that wants to stay at home every night.
Dude, I think I think you're in a good place. You're in a good pocket right here. Like if you could just find a guy that would be compatible with that. I don't understand why there aren't more guys that are compatible with that. Because everything you're saying sounds like it's fucking right on the money.
And it's like, I feel like a lot of the guys, like I said earlier, that I like, don't think that I would be interested into them. Whether it's the short hair or it's the tattoos or... So I do have to make that extra effort to be like, hey, I'm into you. Mm-hmm.
But do you also think it's the confusion aspect of what I was saying earlier? Because I think there's a lot of times when I guess women are hitting on me these days and I don't even notice it because once again, I'm like not even thinking in that headspace. Right.
But it's like also like, okay, from male's perspective, what do I gotta do? Like,
I think women just don't have game.
I have the best like pickup lines ever.
Maybe don't pick up line. Come out and say, yo, I think you're attractive. Let's go on a date.
That's a bit forward.
How about let's partner up and take on the world?
That's a bit forward.
Why is that forward? That's like, it's telling the guy what you want. Rather than like, here's my friend's OnlyFans with me naked making out with him.
See, I like to go for something a little bit more lighthearted. Like, hey, you got some on your face right there? You got something on my seat.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Subtle.
That's a good one. I don't think you've ever said that to anyone, okay?
Cops.
To cops?
Yep. Mardi Gras.
Well, and they're probably like, what?
First off, okay, so I think I've told you this before. Love cops, military.
The man in uniform.
Yes. But also, again, very type A alpha personalities.
Mm-hmm. True.
So what's the best way I'm going to, start talking to somebody? Crack a joke. Because we all know I think I'm like last comic standing in my mind. So, and like, if you can't take a joke, then obviously you're not the right one for me.
Right. Yeah. I feel like that sit on my face line probably works on dudes.
Yeah.
I tried it on a girl one time. It didn't work out.
It didn't work out.
No, it didn't work out. Yeah. Yeah. I think she quit talking to me immediately.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it's a great line.
I did too.
Yeah. That would be the first time I've seen a girl walk out.
Oh no, I have that effect on women. They typically turn and walk the other way.
I think that's probably one of my favorite memories of us.
What happened?
So I came in to you having this conversation with a woman.
What was I having a conversation about?
I think you said some girl was just like not appropriately dressed. And she took huge offense to that. Okay. Saying that, you know, you were offensive to women and all this kind of stuff and how you were just an asshole. And then I walked in and she tried to bring me in a conversation. I was like, no, Kyle's a great guy. Like, well, you should be on my side because you're a woman. How do you put up with this? Like, he's Kyle. And she got so mad that I went inside with her because I was a woman. And then she like stormed out. Dude,
I can't tell you how many times that's happened in this bar. And it's not just like the woman aspect of it. Yeah. It's the fact that like the people that are around me that know me, they know how I am.
Exactly.
Yeah. But when someone new walks into the bar and I start being myself to them, they want everyone that looks like them or is like them to side with them. And no one's like, no, we're not going to side with you. This is a weak argument.
100%. She's like, you're a woman. You should be offended too. Like, fucking Kyle. Like,
yeah, it's sad that I don't remember those anymore because I've had so many interactions like that. But now it makes sense. That makes perfect sense that someone would be mad at me in this bar.
But yeah, so that's kind of where it's at.
Well, what do you have any other nightmare stories that you've had? So a guy threw up in or around you, or on or around you, not in you.
Oh, God.
That'd be weird.
That'd be gross. I don't know. I feel like they've all just like, for me, like they're not all horror stories, but at this point, none of them are successful because I'm still single. Yeah. So it's kind of like they all just like mesh into this one of like failure. I don't want to call it failure, but like just not compatible.
But do you think you're actually going to find someone in a city, or do you think you're going to have to go somewhere else? Like, what do you?
I hope not. Like, I like New Orleans. Yeah. Like, I mean, I lived in 8 different states. Like,
and this is the place.
Yeah, this New is the place I decided to stay in. So it's like, if I'm not finding somebody here, then what's happening?
Get a few more cats, I guess.
First off, not a cat lady, sir.
Dog lady?
I'm a dog lady, 100%. You're two vastly different things. Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah, my dogs don't make it easy either. So,
what kind of dogs do you have?
One is a husky red heeler mix, and the other one is she's a bad bitch from New Orleans.
Just a mutt.
Yeah. So you think part pit, part corgi. Mm-hmm. So
that's interesting.
Yeah, she has like these huge ears and little tiny little body. It's like 36 pounds, but this cute little pit face. So she likes to tell people how she's feeling all the time.
Do they not like the guys you bring over?
No. She so this one guy I was seeing, he was in this weird, like, you know, with somebody for like 7 years and then broke up with them, but like, you know, came to me like, you know, in his feelings and upset about it and like all this kind of stuff. And
upset about the other girl?
Yeah, he had broke it. Well, he broke it off. So like he was just like upset about like the breakup and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, cool. But he was someone I had known for a long while. So I was like, here, let me comfort you.
Ooh, you're trying to move in.
You know, you gotta shoot your shot when you can. Okay. So he came over for dinner one night. Like I was like, I'll make you dinner. You know, he comes over and we're chatting and like halfway through dinner, he's like, you know, I just really appreciate you being there for me. Like I kind of just want to be friends and like, you know, not ready to kind of put myself out there yet. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, cool. Wasted this dinner for nothing.
Have a shot of Jameson.
So we're in the living room and then we're walking back to the kitchen and Joni just starts going for his ankles. And I was like, oh no, Joni. But in reality, I was like, good girl.
Attack.
Get out. Attack. Yeah, so she's not the most welcoming when it comes to male friends in the house.
But yeah, I don't have any animals.
I know you don't, Kyle.
What does that mean? You can't take care of an animal?
Can you?
I mean, I can raise yeast.
Sir, if you...
That's an animal.
What kind of yeast is that, Kyle?
It's vaginal yeast.
Where'd you get
Today's the day.
Where'd you get the yeast from, Kyle?
I don't want to switch subjects here. We're talking about dating.
Where'd you get the yeast from, Kyle?
This is why I'm single. Okay. I ordered it from a lab. I didn't get it from any humans. I ordered it from a lab. Okay. So it was actually cultured in a lab.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that may be a thing, you know, if they go through your search history on your laptop.
Oh, I would be open about it. I'm pretty open about I'm pretty open about these things. But I think that's one of the reasons that I'll never be in a relationship, because imagine if I had a partner and I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to make some mead out of vaginal yeast. Like, what would you say if someone came to you and said that?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah. And I can't play. I need to play, you know?
With vaginal yeast.
Well, just with anything. You don't put a kid in a sandbox and expect him not to play. This world is my sandbox.
I think as a professional chef, I think there's some things we could just leave to regular yeast.
I mean,
maybe not, you know, I mean, I really can't talk. I'm over here trying to make Mountain Dew mead, but still, like,
you're making the Mountain Dew mead.
Yeah,
yeah. I follow the guy that did that. The guy that I bought my first mead making kit was him.
Oh yeah.
Him.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I've met guys who are into weirder things.
Oh, like what? No guy's weirder than me. This is a weird off.
How weird do you want to get on this podcast?
I mean, I'll go deep. Like, you see what I'm doing.
Yeah. Has one guy who said he was really, you know, I'm a chesty female. Mm-hmm. He said he was into like nursing and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Which isn't like the weirdest thing I've heard. But also another one who was really into what you call those rods?
Pegging?
No. In the front.
Oh, he wanted. There's a name for that, but I don't know.
Do you know what I'm talking about, though?
When they stick wires in their dick holes?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I was like, you know, I've been through some weird shit, but that is like.
Did you do that?
No. I had to like, it even for me, like, it looks fucking painful. Like, I just can't.
Why would anyone want that?
I don't know, but he was like super into it. And I'm like,
what we're referring to is when you take a rod of metal and you put it in your penis hole and then pull it out. And apparently that feels good.
Some of them are like ridged.
Dude, I hope.
Some like spiraled, and like some look like bubble wrap.
So one of the reasons I do this podcast is for an archive for my niece and my nephew.
Oh,
like I want them to like, you know that their uncle, you know, met people. So don't ever do that. That's such a, and I will yuck your yum on this one, guys. Yeah. That's a weird fucking thing to do.
You know what also freaked me out? Furries. I've met a lot of guys who are like practicing furries.
Furries, okay.
And the whole outfit just like creeps me out. I just can't. Like,
did you ever bang one of them? You did, didn't you? You banged a furry. Not with the outfit on, because it creeped me out. No, you did.
No.
You can say you did. It's okay.
No, not with the outfit. It's too weird. Like, again, I like a lot of weird shit.
It's still a human though, you know?
Yeah, and like a fucking furry cat head. It's weird.
I would do it.
I'm sure you would.
Yeah, if you know any furries out there, send them my way.
Heard.
Like you always want the experience, you know? Yeah.
I met a lot of guys who are into so like the full blackout like suits.
Oh, the big like leather suit things?
Yeah. And you have the ones that are just like completely blackout. Like all you have is like a mouth hole and that's it.
What about your dick?
I mean, there's you can make an attachment for that. But everything's sewn up, you can't move.
Why would you do that? Like, what's the point of that?
Some guys like to be at the full mercy of like whoever they're with.
But I mean, like, can you even feel through that?
No. So like it's like full leather.
Right.
And like velvet on the outside, some leather inside, and the outside is like fully like quilted leather.
Yeah, I don't get that. Like,
and you have to be enclosed in it, and the person has to open it up from the outside.
So the whole, like, I'm into some weird shit with sex, but it's more like tantric type stuff.
Yeah.
When it comes to the whole like tie me up and like fucking put me in bondage and put me in the leather gear and stuff, I don't get that stuff.
Yeah. Some guys just get off on it. And, you know, again, like it's not, you know, metal rods in your dick hole. So we'll take it.
It's like a power thing, huh?
Yeah.
Like the guys that want to be dominated by a woman.
So, and they like that full like blackout effect. Like you can't hear anything. You can't see anything. You can't.
Oh, I bet that would raise the sensory experience up.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
so
that's
by the
why
time you come out, it's like, it's a totally different experience.
Interesting. You ever been to Colette's?
Am I answering that?
So you have been. I still haven't been. Colette's is the sex club here in New Orleans.
Put me on the spot there, Kyle.
I mean, you don't have to answer any questions I said, but you asked me, do you want to get weird? Anytime I hear that. Anytime I hear, do you want to get weird? I get fucking
Let's
weird.
get fucking weird.
Yeah.
Besides that question.
You mean to pull some glasses out and let you try some of this vaginal mead?
Not trying the vaginal mead. You know, I'm pretty adventurous when it comes to food and booze. But you know what? I gotta draw the line right there.
Like I'm still kind of nervous about it because I couldn't find that it's been done before. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that I did it in such a way where it won't make me sick, but there's still that little bit of like, you know, nervousness in the back of my head.
I have met women that like to have a little extra protein with their breakfast in the morning.
They like to eat semen.
Yes.
That sounds disgusting.
Mm-hmm. So just vaginal mead. I mean, there's no difference really. I'm sorry. There's literally no difference.
There is.
How? It is still a byproduct of a person's private parts.
Well, yes.
Yes.
But it's been cultured out. So you're only getting the specific strain of yeast.
Still from the vagina.
From a vagina, yes.
Yes.
And then the specific strain of yeast is then put into honey, which then creates something else. Okay. So you're getting the byproduct of what that yeast has made. So
they're still putting cum on their oatmeal with honey.
Very different.
Still the same thing.
Very different.
Nope.
Yeah, because what we're drinking now is the byproduct of the yeast.
Vagina, but still vaginal yeast. Still a product of something that came out of a vagina.
Well, like where does regular yeast come from? Where does dough yeast come from? It doesn't come from the vagina, obviously, but the Saccharomyces yeast comes from something.
Yeah.
But where? We don't ask that question.
Right, but not a vagina.
The craziest part about this, Mel, is that this smells like beer.
I'm sure it does.
So if I didn't tell you where it came from.
Or yeast infection or UTI. Yeah, it's great.
I mean, I'd never had a yeast infection, but I bet it doesn't smell like beer.
Smells like yeast.
Just saying.
Which is basically like, God. No.
The guy coming on next is supposed to try it with me. He might not even show up for the podcast today.
I mean, I'm pretty sure when you lured him here, like, let's try some vagina meat, it just made him want to come here even more so.
Bro, he's been talking about it for like the past 3 weeks. He comes to this bar regularly on Fridays whenever I bartend. We've been talking about it for a while, but that doesn't mean he's going to show up day of and put his face on camera drinking this shit.
Yeah, I mean, for good reason.
So do you ever think you're going to find love, Mel? And if so, how do you think you're going to do it? It's obviously not going to be the dating apps, right?
No, it's not. I mean, obviously, I would like to just say I like walk into Miss Maze and find love of my life.
Miss Maze.
One can hope, right?
I mean, if you've never been to New Orleans, you got to go to Miss Maze. See if she's accurate in that assessment.
Yeah. I mean, best 24-hour bar.
Is it still 24s?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I thought they changed the hours.
Nope. Still 24 hours a day.
Then we have to do that. We have to do the challenge.
They don't do that anymore.
Why not?
Because someone left who was very drunk and got very stupid.
But I mean, if it's open 24 hours, we could still do the challenge.
You can, but it's not really like, you don't win anything.
That's okay. We win the fact that we did it. It's for us.
Listen, if you want to do it, I'm down.
So what is the challenge?
So you have to stay there for 12 hours straight. No, 24 hours straight. You have to have at least one drink per hour.
So 24 drinks.
Yes.
Okay.
In 24 hours.
And what cultivates a drink? 1 ounce pour of alcohol or a beer?
I don't know, actually.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah, I think it's either like a one pour or a beer.
Yeah.
I think it could be either or.
Dude, that seems very doable.
Yeah. I mean, listen. You're not going to look as great as going to Miss Maze in the beginning of the 24 hours as you do when you leave.
So I would say if you're up 24 hours anyway, then you're going to look pretty shitty.
Yeah, but like staying in Miss Maze for that long, like not like I can just like hop in my shower like hour 12 and like freshen up.
Dude, I think that's very doable now that we have Uber Eats and stuff. You just get your food delivered to you.
That's very true.
We're doing this. We got to find a date. We can do this.
Let's do it.
We'll get a nice little group. We'll go there. We'll film it too while we're doing it. That'd be fun. Yeah.
I'm down.
Well,
is everybody gonna make it? Are you gonna make it, Kyle? You think you will?
Oh yeah, I think I can do it.
Dust off your drinking shoes.
I mean, it's over enough amount of time that I think I'll be fine.
It's also a matter of self-control because it's hard for me to just like sit someplace for an hour and not have more than one shot.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Yeah. Cause I would be the same way. I would slam that first one and be like, oh, I guess you gotta drink water in between.
Yeah.
And just pee a lot. Well, Mel, anything you want to leave us with today?
Nope.
Do you want the people to follow you?
Sure.
Where can someone find you if they want to find you and if they want to date you?
Slide into those DMs.
Slide those DMs.
Especially if you're tall, blonde, and blue-eyed.
Damn.
I like gingers too.
Damn.
Mel Bell 301
on Instagram.
Yep.
Dope.
Yep.
Mel, thank you for coming in today.
Thanks for having me.
Whenever you find success in your love life, we'll have you come back on. You can talk about it.
I sure will.
Thank you, babe.
Thank you.